Quiet down. I want to welcome everybody. Quiet down or we'll turn the speakers up. Thanks everybody for coming. Thanks Salute for hosting us again.
Yay, Salute.
We have a heck of an agenda tonight. So just to give you a little bit of rules, Judge Fowler. Thank you. You never get to do that to a judge. I just had to take the opportunity. So, we have over 50 people speaking tonight. So we're going to have to be really tight on time so we can be courteous to everybody and get you out of here at a decent time. We've asked any of the candidates that do not have opponents or don't see one tonight, we're giving everybody 90 seconds with a few exceptions. If you don't believe you have an opponent or don't see one, please don't feel obligated to take your whole 90 seconds. That will give us some time for the contested races and to just keep things moving along. In that spirit, I want to bring up John Milheiser. He's going to just talk to you very briefly about a PAC he has that's putting together a referendum. I'll let him give you the rest of the details.
I'm John Milheiser with the SmartDistricts.org PAC. We are trying to develop a single-member district scheme of things to go across the entire Monroe County. Right now our commissioners are elected at large, which means the candidate for Key Largo or District 5 is selected by Key West and every other district that gets to vote. So what it ends up with is many times we have district commissioners who either lost their vote within their commission, within their district, but yet are still seated on the board, or more importantly, the one who won the district by their neighbors and the people within their district that know them best didn't get elected, didn't get seated. Under the Florida statutes, it's possible to convert it to single member, meaning you vote for only the commissioner in your district. We think that goes a long way in terms of improving and not diluting the vote, but improving the vote and giving you a stronger vote for your commissioner to represent your interests, your district's interests, and that's important to us. And I think that should be important to all of us. We're out here, we have a petition that's required, we've got to get a number of signatures. Please stop by after the thing, and we'll be out over there.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you very much, John. All right, now we're going to get to our candidates. We're going to try to do it a little different this time. And this is, remember, this is the call for candidates. You do not have to be registered officially to be running to come up, unless it's a judge or state attorney where you have to be a lawyer and things like that. So with that, we're going to try to, and I will screw this up numerous times, I'm going to call to see if there's anybody looking to run for the seat. If not, I will call the incumbent up. So along those lines, for Circuit Judge of the 16th Judicial Circuit, is there anybody looking to run for Group 4? The incumbent is Judge Ruth Becker. Hearing nobody, I want to bring up one of my best friends and birthday girl and dance partner, Ruth Becker.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here. It has been my honor and privilege to serve the citizens of this county since my election in September of 1990. There are surveys conducted around the state where it is actually true that some people believe the three branches of government are the Republicans, the Democrats, and the Independents. I am grateful to PAC for putting on these events and educating the voters of our county, and I thank you all for inviting me.
Thank you, Ruthie. Moving down the line, is there anybody looking to run for Judge of Group 2? All right, hearing nothing, I'll bring up one of my former bosses, Tim Koenig. Judge Koenig.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here, and I apologize for my coat and tie. This is my new uniform, and I didn't have time to go home and change. I was appointed to this position in September of 2014 and was sworn in November of 2014. Prior to that, I had been a magistrate for Judge Audlin, who had held this position until he retired. And at the same time, and for more than 30 years, I've been in private practice here in Key West in Monroe County. Also practiced elsewhere in the state, some, and once in a while in the federal court in the Southern District here in Florida. In my practice, in the latter part of it, because of administrative duties, I kind of moved away from something that I had loved about the law when I had originally gotten involved in it, and that was the research and the writing and the critical analysis involved in analyzing legal matters and cases. And this position has really given me an opportunity to get back to that, and I'm enjoying it immensely, and it's really rejuvenated my interest in the law. And as I said in my investiture, I couldn't do this without the love of, and support and encouragement of my wife, and my children, and all of you. So thank you.
It's not for or against, it's just against signatures. No. Sorry. Great, now Shirley's mad. Is there anybody looking to run for circuit court judge, Group 1? Hearing none, I'm going to bring up Judge Peary Fowler, and we won't talk about how we know each other.
I wish I could remember. Anyway, I am Peary Fowler. I've been on the 12 years now, coming on being a county court judge. I want to thank PAC for having us all here. It's great to see all these smiley faces, and I look forward to hearing what everybody else has to say. In the meantime, I'm going to tell you that it was music to my ears when nobody answered in response to is anybody running against her. So far so good. Thank you everybody for this. I love my job. I hope to keep my job, and I'm going to yield the floor to the next couple of people and give up my 90 seconds. Thank you everybody.
Thank you, Peary. For Group 3, we're going to move that a little farther back in the agenda because we have 2 opponents and it's an open seat. So with that, we're going to move right into tax collector, Henriquez. Is there anybody looking to run for tax collector? There's nobody here. Dee Dee? I know she's here.
On the right. Here she is.
Scott Russell, you're on deck after Dee Dee. Okay, Dee Dee, here you go.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Danise Henriquez, and it's been an honor and a privilege to be able to serve you for the last 16 years. I will give up my 30 seconds or 90 seconds, whatever it may be, and I just ask that I am able to continue to run as your tax collector and seek my fifth term. Okay, thank you.
That was great, Dee Dee. Thank you so much. Is anybody looking to run for property appraiser? Scott, come on up. Scott Russell is your current property appraiser. And he's looking to get signatures. So also, feel free, everyone, if these people are wanting to get signature cards, you're not voting for them, you're letting them run. It's part of the process. Everybody here should sign a signature card. Scott.
Again, my name is Scott Russell. I'd like to thank Hometown MAC for putting on the event. A little bit about me. I've actually been appraising here in Monroe County for 25 years. This year is actually my 25th year of being an appraiser here in Monroe County. I'm a state certified general appraiser. I love my job. I wake up every day, you know, I can't be happier. I would like to think that you all would help me in becoming the property appraiser for the next 4 years. I look forward to serving you guys. Thank you.
Next up is the Supervisor of Elections. Is anybody looking to run for Supervisor? It's okay. All right, not hearing. Joyce, come on up.
Hi
everybody. You know I love my job. I've been doing it for 31 years. In 2012 for the general election, we had 51,500 voters. In 2014 for the general election, we had 51,200 voters. And just last week, we got over 54,000 registered voters. Now, the challenge is out there. Normally for a presidential election, we'll be able to get an 80% turnout. But let's get an 80% turnout for the August election also. It's a very important election. People are campaigning and they are putting their stuff out there, and it needs to be voted on. Remember, if you're no party affiliation, there's a lot of races you can't vote on, so you need to think about whether or not you want to change your party to a Democrat or Republican, and that has to be done 29 days before the election. So I have voter registration cards, I have vote by mail cards. The vote by mail ballots go out about 30 days before the election. So 25 days before the election, if you didn't receive it, you need to give us a call, because sometimes things get lost in the mail. I want to thank you all so much for supporting me 4 years ago, and I am truly living my dream. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joyce. Is there anybody looking to run for sheriff? Well, while Rick is making his way up here, we have two firsts. If Rick doesn't get an opponent, it'll be the first time in 50 years that that's happened. It'll also be the first time he's ever been this quick on the agenda, so early on the agenda. So come on up, Rick.
Yeah, Todd always puts me at the end to keep the crowd, he says. So, hey, I want to thank you all so much and tell everybody how just thankful and blessed I am to be your elected sheriff. How much I love this job. I think everybody knows I've been in the sheriff's office now for 29 years. And I'm thankful every day I wear this uniform, represent the sheriff's office, the men and women in the sheriff's office, and you, my citizens. It's been an amazing first term. I've had a lot of great successes. We don't have time to talk about all of it, but I will say one of our biggest things is crime prevention reduction. Crime is down 27% in the first 2 years of my office. Fiscal accountability. I've had perfect audits every year in my office, accounting for every penny of your taxpayers' dollars. And one of the biggest things to me, community policing. You've seen some of the community policing projects. We've had the most aggressive partnership in our community, working with you side by side to make it a better, cleaner, safer community. Over 100 community cleanups, working with our neighbors, nonprofits, trying to do better, be leaders in our community. We've been very effective, and that's in large part because of my relationship, my friendship, my partnership with you, the citizens. So closing out, I want to thank you for the continued support, the partnership, the cooperation, the communication, and the friendship. We've been very effective in the sheriff's office because of people like you working with me as a team. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Rick. All right, moving right along to Utility Board, the Key West Utility Board. Group 2, the incumbent is Peter Batty. Is anybody looking to run against Peter or run for his seat? Okay, come on up, Peter.
First of all, everyone else has said it, but I'd like to extend my thanks to Hometown PAC. Without them, with all the hard work that they do, our community would be a different place. So thank you very much to them. Let's hear it for them. I'm going to spend about 15 seconds and tell you about the utility board. Keys Energy is absolutely the best utility. Our rates are the lowest that they've been in about 30 years. Cost of natural gas has come down, but also the cost of the base rate has come down. We've had 3 rate reductions in the last 3 years. The utility is filled with happy employees. Our rates are good. Our dependability is now #1 in the state. And I couldn't be prouder not only of the utility, but of this community in which I live. And I'd like to thank all of you so very, very much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Next up is Group 3. The incumbent is Tim Ruth. Are there any unannounced? We have one announced candidate. Are there any unannounced candidates for Utility Board Group 3? Hearing none. Carol Schreck has announced she's going to run, so come on up, Carol.
Hello everyone, my name is Carol Schreck, as in the movie, and I'm very glad to be here this evening. I am a candidate for the Group 3 seat at the Utility Board. I'm running because I want to protect the ratepayer and the rates of this community. We have a beautiful new building over on James Street, new service center that's been protected and hardened for hazards that are coming up, and it's now time we take a look and protect our rates and our ratepayers from big powers' influence in Tallahassee. I'm the candidate that has the skill set to help us navigate those waters. So I ask you to vote for me. I commit to you that I will be a consistent and engaged contributor to every meeting. I commit to you that I will bring forward new initiatives, and I will commit to you that Keys Energy will be the leading utility in community affordability and livability in the Florida Keys. So on that note, I'd like to say thank you, Carol Schreck, protector of the ratepayer.
Nice talk, Carol.
But not the microphone. Thank you, Carol. Next up, Tim Root. He's the incumbent for Utility Board Group 3.
I'm Tim Root. As they said, Peter pretty much put out about our reliability, and our rates have been very well. We're number 14 now instead of the top 5, which puts us in the center of where we were before. A little bit about what I've done, the construction end of it. We just did the new service building, as Carol said, brought it in with no change orders and 2 months ahead of schedule. We have another building coming up at the Ralph Garcia Center, which is underway right now, that I'm taking as advisor for. And we have about 10 years of infrastructure that we need to do in the next 10 years to get everything back up to speed. Also, I'd like to bring up about the credit card platform that I did last year. We didn't get the credit cards down to 0 because we are a nonprofit, but we're down to 1.85%. And now online banking can be done for free with your checking account. There's no more charges for checking. Hope that makes everyone feel better. Big thing, alternative energy. That's what we're really working with right now. At the Eco Center at Truman Annex, we have put a solar array up there, and it is working out well. The new Ralph Garcia building, we are taking our BP money, part of it, and we're putting a solar array up there also. And the big story is Florida Municipal Power Association has given us a go-ahead to start the conversation for a large solar array to put in down in Central Florida. But thank you anyway. Vote for Tim Root in August. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Tim. Great job. One thing we didn't talk about earlier, and if anybody's posting on Facebook or something, mention that we're streaming live. So all your friends around the country can watch you as you speak. Go to the website, hometownkey-west.com, and there's a link for Watch Live. With that, we're going to move into Mosquito Control Board. District 1 is the incumbent. Is anybody looking to run against or for Group 1? That's Jill Craney-Gage's seat. Well, Jill's not here tonight. She had a genetically modified mosquito meeting and a softball game, but I know we're going to see her in the future. We'll move on to District 3. The incumbent in that is Steve Smith. Is there anybody looking to run for District 3 Mosquito Control Board? All right, Steve Smith, are you around? I know you are. Come on up, Steve.
Thank you very much. I've been very honored to serve this community, District 3, which is Old Town Key West, as your mosquito commissioner for the last 19 and a half years. We have one mission, and that is to protect the public health of the citizens of our community, our families, our children. That is what I fight for. It's not about saving $5 or $10 a year. It's about doing the one job that we're legislatively mandated to do. If anyone has any questions, I'd be thrilled to answer them. Otherwise, I would appreciate your vote, and I will continue to give you the best mosquito control that we can possibly do, and we are the best in the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Next up, we're going to have an open seat. District 4 is a seat currently held by Bill Shaw. He's elected not to run, so open seats are always fairly hotly contested. We have two people that have already announced, Janet Wood and Larry Zettwoch. If Larry's here, come towards the front. Is there anybody else looking to run? Yeah, to run for that seat? Hearing nobody, well, Janet comes up first. We do reverse alphabetical order. I'm sure Janet's not usually first in that. So Janet Wood, come on up.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Janet Wood, Mosquito Control District 4 candidate. I'm a 60-year resident of Monroe County, and Alamorada is my home. My 22-year-old daughter, Sammy Jo, is graduating from college this May. My parents started Ace Hardware in Alamorada in the 50s. I'm a partner in this business. Alan Wood and his business partner own Forest Tech in Plantation Key, Overseas Supply and Lumber in Big Pine Key, and their new gardens in Tavernier. My family is invested in this county. Mosquitoes directly affect the health, safety, and welfare of our county and residents and visitors. I have spent decades volunteering countywide as a guardian ad litem, ensuring safe homes for abused and neglected children, reporting to the court system, and still do so. These issues are important to me as a HAZWOPER, Hazardous Waste Operations and Emergency Response. During the BP oil spill with the United States Coast Guard, Sector Key West, and Auxiliary, again I was able to work for the health, safety, and welfare of our residents and visitors. I'm very visible and will provide excellent access to all. My focus is taxpayer money and continued health and safety for our residents and tourists. Now is the time to be aware and ready to contain with robust attention. I ask for your vote. Janet Wood, District 4. Janet would do the best job for you.
Thank you very much, Janet. Next up is Larry Zettwoch. Come on up, Larry. I will butcher your name throughout the election.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I appreciate everything. I'm Larry Zettwoch, built a house in Lower Matacumbe in 1989. I started teaching diving at Founders Park in 89-90. My background a little bit, I got 3 degrees, I got a law degree. Flew for the Air Force, Air National Guard, and Reserves for 34 years. And got interested in mosquito control about 2 years because we had some property behind the fire station. I'm a volunteer fireman paramedic that was not being used, and Alamorada needed some place to train, and here's a piece of land right behind it. So we managed to get that. We got planned training coming up. Very much involved in the community. Besides being a fireman paramedic, I'm helping teach CPR, first aid, to everybody. Have a medical background, so I'm very familiar with Zika. Very concerned about what would happen to our tourism industry down here if anything came up. With the day in instant media, that scares me to death. And so what I want to do is I want to spend your money wisely. I'm a fiscal conservative on that. One of those things that I like to do is I'm on 2 other boards. One other board has been there for 10 years, our homeowners association. And if we spend money, we need to do it correctly, and we need to kill mosquitoes. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Can everybody hear okay in the back? You hear us back there? Well, if you can, I want to thank Kelly Friend here from Audio Video in Paradise. Kelly has been with us. I guess I had that one coming too. Kelly's been with us from the beginning, and we put... Well, I will get to them. Kelly's been with us from the beginning, and we even put extra speakers because we thought the crowd would be bigger, and it seems like it's worked out. So, with that little advertisement there, we'll go to school board. It's a 4-year term. First up, District 2, the incumbent is Andy Griffith. Is anybody looking for the wonderful job of school board? All right, seeing nobody that wants to take on Andy. Oh, that's Andy. I know he wants it. Come on, Andy.
Hello, everybody. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve you on the school board, and I will continue to work hard on your behalf. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andy. Way to use the time. I'm serious. That really helps. Okay. District 3. Is there anybody looking... District 3, the incumbent is Ed Davidson. Is there anybody looking to run for District 3? We have one announced candidate. We'll bring her up. Mindy Kahn. Mindy, come on up.
Thank you, Todd. Hi, everyone. My name is Mindy Kahn, and I am running for School Board District 3. I've been living in the Keys since 2001. I have two beautiful children in the school district, 13 and 16, and we've been here since they were in pre-K and kindergarten. I'm a college success coach with Take Stock in Children. I started out as a lawyer, so I worked with both the New York State Attorney General and in private practice. And I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Speech Communication, and my law degree is from St. John's University. I've taught as an adjunct professor at FKCC in their paralegal program when they had it. I've been a substitute teacher in the school district for a long while, and in addition to that, I've done many fundraisers, been on the district advisory committee, the school advisory committee for Sugarloaf as both a member and a chair. I've mentored with Take Stock in Children, which is how I got started in the program, and I've run many fundraisers and watched as our school district has grown. Why vote for me? I bring new ideas, a level head, and ability to work with people. I like to solve problems and work towards common goals. It is a skill I have needed to employ in every area of my career and life, and I would like to move Monroe County School District forward. I like to refer to what I call the ABCs. We need to work on accountability, balance in schools, and community partnerships. Please vote for me, Mindy Kahn, School Board District 3. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Salute. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mindy. All right, Cat Med, come on up.
As many of you know, I came to Key West as a Navy Top Gun fighter pilot instructor. After becoming the 33rd guy to live through 200 combat missions, I was right next to Senator McCain the day he got shot down. 6 weeks later, I arrived in the island city. When you voted for me last time, I promised to do my homework, and I have. I read everything. 12, 1 o'clock in the morning Sunday, I read it all. A lot of folks, including people who live here, think that this is kind of a little red schoolhouse district. Well, the news for you is that last year, our budget, including construction and maintenance, was $169 million. It's very complicated. It's a full-time job for me, just studying the finances and keeping track of the taxpayers' dollars. They haven't always been spent as well as they should have been. I remind myself that 80% of our taxpayers don't presently have kids in our schools. They don't directly benefit. They're entitled to expect their money to be well and carefully spent and transparently accounted for. There's more work that needs to be done. That's why I'm running again. I also did my graduate work in advanced psychometrics and testing. And as everybody in the country knows, we've gone nuts with high stakes, hyper over testing. We've been testing kindergartners. And then what everybody should know is the best test in the world is a brief measure of limited things at a brief moment in a kid's life, and then we obsess about the score and we blame teachers for the ills of society in the process. Thank God for our dedicated teachers.
Thank you, Ed. Okay, we're shifting gears to the Key West City Commission. District 1, is anybody looking to run? District 1 is held by Jimmy Weekly. Anybody looking to run for that seat? Jimmy is not here, he's at a trade conference. He did call us and let us know. Next up would be District 3, Billy Wardlow. I know Billy's here. Is there anybody looking to run for that seat? Not hearing anything. Billy, you want to come on up? Come on up, Bill.
Thank you. I want to thank Hometown PAC for putting this on. It's going to be a little long one tonight, it looks like, Todd, but I really want to thank my brothers, my wife. I even have my mother-in-law here from St. Augustine tonight. So I want to thank everybody for coming out and enjoying, and I'm looking forward to another 4 years on the City Commission. We're doing a lot of things. You look around town and you can see a lot of building. The city has improved this town a whole lot with the sidewalk crews and everything, and looking forward to more hard work. I love being on the City Commission more than I like being in the fire department for 30 years. So thank you very much. You all have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Billy. The next district is District 6. That is held by Clayton Lopez. Is anybody looking to run for District 6? All right, come on up, Clayton.
Wow. I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank Hometown PAC for allowing this opportunity. And I want to say that I was part of the rebuilding team after Wilma. I was part of the transition team. And now I'm a part of the team that's moving forward. And I just want to continue to serve you in the best way possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Clayton, and thanks for being so brief. I should mention, everybody thanks Hometown. Hometown is about a half a dozen of us. We are beyond a shoestring operation. Pretty much been the same group for over 10 years. And it's the best group I work with because everybody does their job. But we pay for all this stuff. Nobody donates it. So please join and donate to us. And I think it's working pretty well. So with that, we're going to get into, it's going to get interesting now. Key West Mayor, Craig Cates is the incumbent. Are there any unannounced, anybody that hasn't talked to me that's looking to run for mayor? All right, with that, we will bring up a name we all know and love, Sloan Bashinsky. Come on up, wild man.
Yeah, I talked to him beforehand. I did so well the other 4 times I ran. I've changed my campaign strategy entirely. I have a campaign manager. She is homeless. She's a convicted felon. She's the reason you read in the blue paper this morning, if you read it, about the guy that drove his Mercedes down the sidewalk in front of the church. But for her, you'd have never heard of that. She called it into me, I called it into Arnaud Gerard, and they were there with their camera. She's also my girlfriend. And I too am homeless. And I am also a felon, but unlike her, I never got caught. So we fit in really well in Key West. Sloan for mayor.
Thank you, Sloan. All right. Next up, Randy Becker. Randy, come on up.
I'm Randy Becker, and I'm running for mayor of Key West. And the reason I am doing that is because I love this island home that is ours. But at the same time, I'm disappointed because I get a sense that we may have a lot of action going on in town, but I don't think we're getting much progress. We don't have a unified vision of how we want this city to be. We don't look 10 or 20 years down the road and ask ourselves as citizens, what kind of city do we want to have? And as a commission, we don't ask that question either. I'd like to see us do the work to know where we're headed. Then all the action we're doing is more meaningful than just treading water. I think we need to take a look at the ways we serve our citizens in diverse ways. We need more economic diversity in the city, not just in wages, but also in the sources of income. We also need to talk about what affordable and workforce housing really means and not just a platform point. We need to talk about ways to help our seniors age in place so they don't have to leave the island and go back to the mainland. We need to talk about transparency and governance so that if I'm mayor and I know some information, I'll make sure you, the citizens, know it as well, and the commissioners do as well. So I'm RandyBeckerForMayor.com and at Facebook, Randy Becker for Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Next up, Ed Crane. Come on up, Ed.
Thanks, Todd. You know, it's amazing the energy in this room. I mean, can you feel it? I mean, the talent is amazing, and keep up the great work. I want to say I have some great opponents. You certainly can't do better than Randy Becker, Mayor Cates. Great job, Mayor. Thank you. Key West needs Ed Crane. I do get along well with everybody. I have a millennial campaign manager at Tenera. Are you out there somewhere? Outstanding. Good job. I've worked with everybody in this town, and it's all great. You can go online and look at my platforms. One thing I've been thinking, third-party contracts and all these studies that we do, a lot of money is going out there, and I'd like to get people's opinions on these third-party contracts. We have all these capable city staffers that are so talented, so passionate. Let's let them do some of this third-party contract work and some of the studies. But once again, I'm looking forward to a fun campaign with two great opponents. Thank you, Key West, and thanks, Hometown PAC.
Thank you, Ed. People have been mentioning their websites, and I think I mentioned ours earlier, but I didn't mention who runs it, and that's floridakeys.com. Kelly, our AV goddess over here, our other Kellys. We're very lucky. We're going to go to County Commission now. First is District 1, which is currently held by Danny. Oh. I told you I would screw up. I mean, how does this Craig Cates, is it? Come on up, Craig.
I'm sorry. Have I been there too long? Have we got about to? No, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Hometown PAC. I'm honored to be your mayor for 4 terms. We've accomplished a lot together. I'm a consensus builder. I work on issues. I bring the community together to solve those issues. We've come a long way. We got over $60 million worth of projects all paid for that we're under construction or just completed or will complete here shortly. We started O'Toole Waterfront Park after 15 years. And we broke ground. We've got a lot of accomplishments. Do we still have issues? Absolutely, every city does. But we're going to work together as a community to get them done. It's just special to be part of this community and see everybody out here getting involved, solving the issues of our community. I hear all this time about transparency. Everybody knows that my phone number is out there. My door is always open. I'm more involved in this community than anybody previously before me. So there's no issue with transparency. I think that we live in the greatest community in the world, absolutely in the county, where our taxes are lower than any city in the county, lower than if you lived in the county, with more benefits than any other community. Our taxes are lower, our property values are higher, we have more services, and we're lucky to have the friendliest people in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. Sorry about that. I wish I could say I did that on purpose. All right, now we're going to go to County Commissioner. District 1 is the incumbent's Danny Coolidge. Is anybody looking to run for Danny's seat? I didn't think so. Come on, Danny.
Thank you very much. I am seeking re-election to the County Commission for District 1. A lot of people are probably wondering why in the world does he want to do that again. But actually I'm very proud of this County Commission. We have dealt, I believe, effectively with some extremely difficult issues. This year we will finish up the Caddo Regional Wastewater System, which is the last major project in the sewering of the Keys. In terms of our infrastructure, we have over 300 miles of county roads. We put together a $20 million budget over 5 years to deal with those roads, and the 26 bridges that Monroe County is responsible for. I'm sure that many of you know that we have a huge issue with the acquisition of property in the Keys, for reasons which I don't have time to go through right now. But we have set aside $10 million locally, together with the funding that we will receive from the Florida Keys stewardship bill, to work with the state to enhance our land acquisition program. And in addition to that, I mean, we in the Keys are vitally interested in sea level rise, and I'm happy to tell you that there's not one single member of our county commissioner who denies that sea level rise is happening, and we're doing something about it. I thank you, and I appreciate your support.
Thanks, Danny. Next up is District 3. That is a seat held by Heather Crothers. Is there anybody I haven't talked to that's looking to run for that seat? I'm just kidding, I haven't talked to anybody, come on.
Thank you, Todd. It has really been an honor to serve all of the residents of Monroe County for the past 8 years and to work with what I think is a really stellar group of colleagues on the County Commission. I'm asking for you to give me 4 more years so that I can continue to serve under the guiding principles under which I ran in 2008. That is fiscal responsibility, transparency, and accountability to all residents of the Keys. I'm not going to take too much more of your time because there's a lot of folks to speak, but I have to share 3 things with you. Please sign my petitions. Colleen and Kelly are wandering around and hopefully getting your signatures. Secondly, please do not go to the website on the back of their shirts because those shirts are left over from 2008. I do now have a Facebook page, Carruthers for Commission, but there's not much on it, but please feel free to look at it. And finally, I want to invite all of you to my next annual town hall meeting, which will be Thursday, May 19th from 5:30 to 7:30 at Harvey Government Center, where I'll share with you the status of the county and take any questions literally on any issue. Thank you to Hometown PAC, and thank you all for the opportunity to serve in this great community.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Heather. Next is District 5. This is the seat held by Sylvia Murphy. Is there anybody that I haven't talked to looking to run for that seat? Right here. Are you Robbie Majeska? Oh, well, I hadn't talked to you, but come on up, Robbie. Robbie Majeska has announced, and here he is.
Hi, I'm Robbie Majeska, and I'm running for County Commission for Monroe County. 18 years ago, I moved to the Keys to raise my children in a small community. All right? I am a small business owner. I own Keys Critters Pet Store, your community pet store up in Key Largo. And I take that slogan seriously. I've been very involved in our community. I work with every animal welfare group. Every school up there has a marine biology program that I set up. I work with the Boy Scouts for the last 8 years. And for the last 8 years, I've also been elected on the Key Largo Wastewater Treatment District. I've been a commissioner up there for 8 years working on the wastewater plant. So I've stayed active in the community. Now, I didn't move to the Keys to change anything. I love the Keys the way they are. I didn't move here to change things. But we tend to have a lot of serious problems coming at us that we need some new ideas. I think we need my campaign slogan is, let's view our future from a new perspective. And I think I can add a lot to that. So I'm here asking for your support, for your vote from the lower Keys. I've worked together with Marathon, with Almirada and the Upper Keys to solve some of our problems up there. And I'm looking forward for the chance to work to help solve some of the problems for all Monroe County. So I'm asking for your vote, your support. Thank you very much. I'm Robbie Majeska for County Commission.
Thank you, Robbie. Next up, Sylvia Murphy, the incumbent.
Okay, 10 years ago this month, I spoke to you for the first time, scared to death with my knees knocking. I'm not scared of you anymore. You are the greatest bunch in the world, I'll tell you. But after everyone else has spoken, there's very little left to say, especially Danny Coolidge. So, I want you to answer 4 questions. You supported me very, very well in 2006, right? Right. You did it again in 2008, right? Right. 2012 you did it. Well, you didn't do it again because nobody ran against me, but you would have, wouldn't you? Right. Now, 2016, can we do it again? Yes, we can!
Thank you, Sylvia. We're going to jump back in the agenda, back to the judges race, to Group 3. This is a seat currently held by Reagan Tomey, but he's decided not to seek re-election, which makes it an open seat, and not surprisingly, it's contested. So first up, I want to bring Sharon Hamilton up. Sharon, I saw you over there. Come on, Sharon. There you go.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sharon Isabel Hamilton, and I am a candidate for County Court Judge Group 3. I only have 90 seconds, so real quick, a little about me. I was born in Miami, Florida in 1963. I graduated from Nova University Law School in 1988, number 12 out of a class of 190 students. My husband and I were married in 1989, and we moved to the fabulous Florida Keys. I have over 27 years of experience in Monroe County in almost every area of law, from family, criminal, probate, civil, mental health cases. It's as a result of that experience in 2005, then Chief Judge Richard Payne appointed me as a general magistrate. I served in this quasi-judicial capacity for over 10 years. I presided over trials, hearings, and motions in over 4,000 cases on behalf of the judges of Monroe County. Judges like Judge Taylor, Judge Odlin, Judge Slayton, Judge Becker, Judge Garcia, and Judge Tomey. It's not only my legal background as an attorney, nor my job as a general magistrate, but it's also the job that I've done in court administration that makes me uniquely qualified to understand how this very important Monroe County-wide position affects each and every one of you. Whether you are a victim, a witness, a juror, a plaintiff, a defendant, or an attorney, I understand how this affects you. So please vote on August 30th. I will strive to continue to treat you the way I would want to be treated. Vote August 30th for Sharon Hamilton. When you vote for me, you vote for proven experience, integrity, and compassion. Sorry. If I talked faster, you wouldn't have got it.
It's okay, we understand. Thanks, Sharon. Next up is Rob. Rob Stover.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. I'm Rob Stover. I get to ask this question a lot. Rob, you're a successful lawyer. Why are you running for judge? Well, we all have the right to be heard. Living on an island, I've gained a true appreciation for the unique and wonderful way of life we all share. As judge, I will never forget that the decisions made inside the courtroom can have a long-standing effect on the people, the community, and our way of life in Monroe County. Now, why should you vote for me? Experience. As a lawyer, I have handled thousands of cases involving people from all walks of life. Knowledge. I'm a student of the law. I teach the law. I love it. I really do. Approach to the bench. My judicial philosophy is based on fairness, respect, honesty, and service to the community. I'm Rob Stover, and I look forward to continuing the conversation with you.
Thank you, Rob. And we're gonna move on to a first for hometown, at least, and probably Key West. And I'm sure everybody here has heard of a fellow named Marco Rubio. Well, he's our current state senator, or U.S. senator, and he's decided not to run for re-election, which makes it an open seat. We have two candidates here tonight for U.S. Senate, and that's a first for hometown, and I don't remember having any down in Key West anyway. So we're going to give them, we're going to be real magnanimous, give them a whole 2 minutes. It's all we can do. But Pam Keith, talked to Pam earlier. Come on up, Pam, and thank you for coming.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Pam Keith, and I am a Democratic candidate for U.S. Senate. Just to tell you a little bit about me, I'm an attorney. I have 20 years of legal experience, but I am more proud of the fact that I served my country in the United States Navy as a naval officer. I served for 4 years, 2 of which I served overseas. And while it's important to me that I'm a Democrat, it is far more important to me that I am a patriot. And what that means to me is not loving the America of the 1950s. It means loving Americans right here and now. There is a population of Americans that is not getting the treatment it deserves. Our veterans are completely and utterly disrespected. And I'm not going to waste your time telling me about me. I'm going to tell you about them and what they go through when they try to get their benefits, especially if they've been older veterans. Their benefits claims languish forever because they have to prove that their illness or their injury is service-connected, and sometimes they have to reconstruct a military service from 30 years ago. And that puts the burden on our veterans. No wonder it takes some years to prove it if they could ever prove it at all. I propose that we flip the script, that the VA has 90 days to prove that a veteran is not entitled to a benefit. And if they can't do it in 90 days, then they get the benefit. The other thing that I'm proposing for our veterans is to ensure that we do not create big budgets to go to war and cut budgets to deal with veterans when they get home. I propose legislation that ensures that all operational budgets bake into them the veteran consequence for the operation. If we don't have the money to treat our veterans, we don't have the money to go to war. Those are two of my good ideas. I am the fresh face, the new voice of the Democratic Party, and you can find out more about me at pamkeith.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Next up for U.S. Senate is Tony Corey. Tony, come on up.
Pam, you've done a great job. I don't know if I can compete against you, but my name is Tony Corey. I'm running as an independent. I was a registered Republican till what you've seen in this year's election, and you can see, for example, where we have the Supreme Court nominee, and our Republican Party refused to give him the time of day to see at least, to qualify him. There is so many other problems that we have. So basically, I'm running as an independent, so we could run as a moderate to be inclusive. Because if you're either an extreme conservative or an extreme liberal, and if you're in the middle, we don't have any voice. So therefore, we have a lot of issues that matter to the state of Florida, such as Social Security for our seniors, to make sure that there will be in there for them. We have the quality education, for example, right now with our students that we send to college, and they come back with student rate loans at 8 to 9 and 10%, but you can buy a house at 30-year mortgage for 3.5%. In my opinion, they're both equally strong for our next generation. We encourage home ownership, we encourage advanced college degrees. They should all be at the same interest rate. Other than that, please go check my website, CoreyFlorida.com, Corey4Florida.com. Come and see me over there. We can exchange all other issues, and if you have any concerns, I'll love to hear your voice. Thank you.
Tony. We're going to move right along to U.S. House. And again, this is something that years ago we didn't see a lot from U.S. representatives, and now we become a must-see or a must-attend. Ironically saying that, our current rep, Carlos Curbelo, can't be here tonight. But I asked for an official reason, and it's daddy duty. And think of the lives these people live. So you got to take a day off occasionally. But we have a full house of opponents for Carlos. First up, a fellow you've all known, or I think you'll know him, Joe Garcia. Joe, come on up. No shaking hands, Joe. Get up here.
I got 2 minutes.
Yeah, you can have 2.
How you all doing? How you all doing? There we go. Listen, I want to tell you we're back in this race. You mentioned we used to not see the congressman down here. When Joe Garcia got elected, I moved down here. And it was the first time in over 100 years that we had a congressman from South Florida. And I want to do that again. I want to get your vote. And this election year is really interesting, because we've got a few very good candidates on the Democratic side. We got Jose, who runs all the time, and we've got him here, and you'll hear from him in a second. And then we've got the candidate that's running for the Republican for his position. And it's fascinating because you're going to get a chance to vote for a Republican who's trying to become a Democrat. And the reality is, when people are given a choice between the real thing or somebody who pretends to be something else, they usually go for the real thing. My name is Joe Garcia. I represented South Florida, and we moved policy forward. We had a voice, you had a voice, and we made a difference. God bless you all for being here. Help us out. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. And thanks for not taking the whole 2 minutes. Okay, next up, Jose Peixoto. Took me a number of elections to get that name right. Jose, come on up. I'm quite proud that I got it. I nailed it.
Good evening, for a lot of the Keys voters, and thank you, Hometown Packet, for every single election. You guys do this great job. Give us the opportunity to come over and give the opportunity to the voters know about the candidates. I'm Jose Peixoto. I'm running against Mr. Curvelo. And all of you guys gonna ask, why you run against a Republican if you're a Republican? He's not a Republican. I have a bunch of ways to tell you why, but I don't have the time. I'm gonna give you 3 of those. First one, every single Republican Party I went to the meetings, they vote against the Common Core almost 100%. And Mr. Curvelo support that 100%. He's the Pope of the Common Core. The second one, Mr. Curvelo is not Republican, because a few weeks ago he put out a statement to say if Mr. Donald Trump was a candidate, you're not going to vote for Trump, and even more, he said he's going to vote for Hillary. Shame on him as a Republican. And the third one, he has so much money in his campaign account, it would be very hard for me to run against him. But I can tell you, he's not here today for you to see it. But if he have to wear a patch and his suits, for every big corporation, a big lobbyist behind him, you're not going to look like a congressman. You're going to look like a NASCAR driver. I wish you guys vote for me in August against Mr. Curvelo. And I promise, if I'm there, I'm going to support and represent you, the working class people, so as I am. I run a very little business in Key Largo for 23 years, and I was able to raise 3 wonderful children. 2 of them is already in the school with just hard work, and I know how hard it is. Vote for me, and I'm going to bring back what this country is about. I am the guy which is the fathers of this country wants to be a politician, from the people to the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Next up, another name you've probably heard, Annette Taddeo. Come on up, Patty.
Thank you, everyone. Delighted to be here. My name is Annette Taddeo, and I'm running for U.S. Congress in Florida 26. I was the Democratic nominee for Lieutenant Governor, and I want you to know, although we got within 1% of getting there, we won this seat by over 7,000 votes. That's 7 points that we won this seat. We should have never lost this seat, and I'm going to get it back and keep it. Enough of the back and forth. I want you to know that I came to the United States when I was 17 years old from Colombia. My father was a World War II veteran. He was a fighter pilot, and he was sent to Colombia to start the first helicopter school in South America. Fell in love with my mom, and the rest is history. I came to the United States when I was 17 with almost 0 English. My English was so limited. And I knew that the way to get a better future was to get a college education. So I wanted to get into college. Well, guess what? Those damn tests, right? I couldn't test well, so nobody would take me. Eventually, I got accepted at the, are you ready? University of North Alabama. But by gosh, I was accepted into a university. I knew that I was smart and that a lot of universities were not taking me just because of a test score or because of my English being limited. I go to school, I do very well. I want you to know my first campaign and where all this, you know, fire in the belly comes from an experience in college that changed my life. I ran for student government secretary of my school. I put posters all over the school with my picture, said Annette Taddeo for secretary. On the day of the election, the posters no longer said Annette Taddeo for secretary. Secretary was crossed out and they said Annette Taddeo for deportation. I was very young, and at a young age, an experience like that can really get you upset and maybe hurt you and get you to become bitter. Not me. I said, I'm going to do something with myself, and I'm going to turn this experience into something positive. That's what I've done all my life. I started a business in translations, which today is one of the biggest businesses in Florida, small businesses, very successful. And I have actually turned around what was a very negative opportunity. We are going to win this race, and I'm running in the primary and in the general against people that have not spoken up for our community, such as Keystone Pipeline. Both the primary and the general opponents have voted for Keystone Pipeline. Not me. I will not do that. Thank you so much. Annette Taddeo.
She's she had a little fire in her belly. All right, now we're going to move to state representative. The incumbent is Holly Merrill Rasheen High School. Sorry, after all these years. She has 2 announced candidates against her. First up, Kevin Diaz. Kevin, will you come up? Oh, here he comes. Come on up, Kevin. And Artie, you're on deck if you're out there. Kevin, welcome.
Hello everyone, thank you for inviting me to this great event. My name is Kevin Diaz and I'm a candidate for state representative. I see this election and this time period as an opportunity for us to take control of our future. If we focus on renewable energy, expanding the water treatment plant for reuse and desalination, and allow our community to self-insure for homeowners insurance, we can begin to move in the right direction. Solving our problems sometimes means working with others. Sometimes it means implementing other strategies in order to achieve our goal, and being first and foremost about the people. But what's most important is we can't compromise our core beliefs. That's why I'm running for state representative, and that's why I'm asking for your vote today. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Next up, Artie Leichner. Artie?
Hello there. My name is Artie Leichner. I'm a former teacher, a former union leader, and a lifelong fiduciary. And I believe that government has a fiduciary responsibility to the people that they represent. Our current government in Florida is broken. They do not have a fiduciary responsibility. They spend more of their time trying to figure out what to do with budget surpluses rather than finding ways to return the money to the people of Florida in goods and services that are meant to help them. They didn't fund your water bill all the way. They gave you $5 million instead of the $25 million that you desperately needed to deal with water. They don't take care of the people of Florida. They don't care what we think. And if you have one party in control of an entire state, and it takes $11.5 million in 3 special sessions for them not to be able to draw the map that my 9th graders could have drawn in, I don't know, maybe a half a period. That's pretty pathetic. I don't want my money going for extra per diems for our legislators. People should be able to effectively legislate this state in 60 days. Thank you.
Thank you, Artie. Next up will be our incumbent, Holly Merrill Rasheen. Holly, come on up. Before you get started, Holly, officially pronounce your last name so I can get it right.
Rasheen. Todd, you did great. You did great. Actually, that was better than last time, so you're improving. You're improving. And thank you so much, Todd. And thank you to Hometown Pack for such an amazing event. I think, touche. I think it's one of the best that we have, and absolutely, it's a big one tonight. And actually, 4 years ago, if you can believe it, I stood in this very spot. I think maybe it was over here, but all the same. And I said I wanted to make a difference in our community, like so many of us out and running for office today want to do. And I asked you were to make me your state representative in Tallahassee, I could do that. And today, I stand in front of you pretty confident that I delivered on my commitment. Thank you. And whether it's working on our very, very complex water and land acquisition issues, or championing the elimination of LGBT discrimination in the workplace and in housing, and one of my favorites, protecting our native species, of course, the lobster, and our favorite, the sea turtles. And those are major, major big wins. And those are good accomplishments, but there's still much work to be done. And so I ask you all tonight for your continued support and bring me back to Tallahassee in 2016. Thank you, Key West, and thank you, District 120.
Thank you very much, Holly. I'm going to take a very quick break. And since it's not really possible to do a moment of silence with volleyball and jets and everything, I'm going to do a round of applause for Tom Oosterhout, who's recently passed away. I think Tom would have liked a round of applause more than that. For those who don't know, besides color, he was a former city commissioner. So he served his city very well. Okay, next we're going to go to State Senate. And State Senator, this is almost a historic time for the Florida Keys, because for the lifetime of some of the people in the audience, they've only had one name as our state senator, and that's Bullard. There was Dwight, who was our last state senator, then before him his mother, and then his father. So we've had 3 Bullards as our state senator, and they didn't get to the Keys very often. I think that's probably going to change, because it's through redistricting, it's sort of an open seat, and we have 4 people here tonight that are looking to fill that seat. So trying to keep it with our alphabetical order, which I'm going to kill. Let's just start with a current House of Representative member, Henriquez Flores. Ms. Flores, come on up. One quick little caveat. I volunteer on an organization that Henriquez works with, so that's our disclaimer.
Thank you so much, Todd, and thank you so much to Hometown PAC for having me here today. My name is Henriquez Flores, and I am a state senator right now. And due to redistricting, my district right now includes only Miami-Dade County. Due to redistricting, hopefully in November, I'm going to have the opportunity to represent not just Miami-Dade County, but all of the Florida Keys as well. The most important title that I hold is that of mom. I'm the mother to 2 young boys. Maximo is 7, Lucas is 4 years old, and they have already enjoyed much of their time here in the Florida Keys. Just yesterday we were over at Isla Mirada at Island Fest, and we've had lots of opportunities to be down here. But I want to talk for a second about what are some of the things that I've already been able to accomplish for the Florida Keys in the short amount of time that the districts have changed. And I want to focus on 3 issues. The first, number 1, is the passage of the Keys Stewardship Act. I know you heard Holly talk about it, some others have talked about it as well, and the great thing about this bill is that we were able to pass it unanimously in the Florida Senate to ensure that, first of all, there's a framework for the funding that will come down to the Keys to ensure that that fragile ecosystem and environment that's so important down here, that funding be put down here. And it also provides $5 million a year, at least $5 million a year, for the next 10 years. And hopefully working alongside Holly, that'll be a lot more numbers in the years to come. The second issue is the issue of property insurance. Property insurance for too long has been much too high in the state. And one of the reasons that we found it is because the state mandated that only one model could be used to determine what the rates would be. So what we did is that we worked this year and passed a bill to make sure that multiple models could be used so that your property insurance rates and those of Miami-Dade County could be lowered coming this year. And third is the issue of the environment in general, but specifically on the issue of fracking. It was very contentious this year, and you'll be happy to know that I led the fight in the Senate to make sure that that didn't pass. Thank you. There's so much more to talk about. We have people walking around with information. Hopefully we can earn your vote come November. Thank you.
If I said State House, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Don't listen. Don't listen. You got nothing. There we go. I was going to say don't listen to me, but I guess Kelly took it seriously, literally. All right, next up, and I can't read my bad handwriting. I believe it's Daniel Horton. Daniel? Did I get your name right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Horton like the elephant. All right, it's easy. It's easy. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here. My name is Daniel Horton, and I'm a Democrat running for State Senate in District 39. District 39, for any of you that don't know, stretches from Key West all the way up to my alma mater at FIU. Now, I live in the district now. I lived in the district while I was in law school, and I can tell you from talking to a lot of people, that there are a lot of people struggling in this district. There are people struggling to put food on their table. There are people struggling to buy the medicine that keeps them alive. And there are people struggling to spend time with their families because they're working 2, sometimes 3 jobs just to keep a roof over their heads. Now, I don't come from much. I come from a poor family growing up in North Georgia. Most of my food came from a food bank, from the local church. Our clothes were hand-me-downs from our neighbors. But one thing that I have learned is the value of hard work, and I know how to get things done. From the time I was 14, I've worked pretty much any job that would pay. I've bagged groceries, I've dug ditches, I've baled hay. For any of you that are curious, it's very itchy work. I worked in restaurants for almost 8 years to get myself through college and get a degree. Went to law school, was president of the student body. I've been deeply involved in the community throughout Miami-Dade. I've been recognized from various organizations, but that doesn't really matter. What really matters are the two principles that I learned as a child growing up. Hard work pays off, and you treat other people the way that you want to be treated. And if we would do that in Tallahassee, we would make this state a much better place for all of us to live. I want to represent you in Tallahassee. We have a serious crisis with affordable housing throughout this district and throughout this state. We have climate change that is tearing apart our environment and endangering the Florida Keys and the Everglades, and we need to solve it. And I want to do that for you, and I will fight for you, and I will work hard like no one that has ever represented you before. My name is Daniel Horton. I am a Democrat for the Florida State Senate of District 39. I'm asking for your help, I'm asking for your vote, and I'm asking for your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daniel. Is Sheila Lucas George here? Sheila George? We'll move on to Andrew. Andrew Michael Court. Come on.
Hello everybody, my name is Andrew Corge. I'm a third-generation Floridian. I work in real estate and affordable housing, which we need more of here in the Keys. I have an incredible wife named Amber, and I'm the father of 2 young children, and I'm a Democrat running for state senate because I'm worried about our future. When you take a look at what's going on in Tallahassee, it's pretty clear they don't care about us. Look at the issues. Cuba. We have a historic opportunity after 50 years of a failed policy to negotiate a new deal, protect human rights, and make good business for here in the Florida Keys. But people in Tallahassee, including my opponent, want to keep the status quo. Look at LGBT rights. My opponent is against equal rights for our LGBT brothers and sisters. I reject that. We need to provide equal rights. It's constitutional. And you know what? Why is the government telling people who they can love and adopt? That's not government's role. Look at the environment. My opponent voted for offshore oil drilling a year before the BP oil spill. A year. And now that it's an election year, she claims that she cares about the environment. And you know, don't even get me started with insurance, because that's a whole nother mess. And it will just prove once again that Tallahassee doesn't care about us. They're not working for us. It is us versus them. You need to join us by going to andrewcorge.com, K-O-R-G-E. This is not just about my future and my kids' future. It's about your kids and your grandkids' future. We can do this together. The future is ours. Join me. My name is Andrew Corge, Democrat running for state senate. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Andrew. And to Andrew and all the candidates that come from the mainland and Key Largo and stuff, on behalf of Key West, we really do appreciate it, because it didn't always happen. We'll make it worth your while, I promise. And moving back to our local election, well, more local elections, for Clerk of Court. The incumbent's Amy Havlin, and we have one announced candidate. Is there anybody else looking to run for Clerk of Court? Not hear anything? The announced one is Kevin Maddock. Come on up, Kevin.
Well, thank you, hometown. I am really grateful to have this opportunity to speak about the clerk's race in front of so many people. Now, I had a full minute-and-a-half speech prepared, but you've heard a lot of minute-and-a-half speeches, so I'm going to leave it for another time and just say a few brief words. Because I believe most people here know what this clerk race is all about. We're aware of the problems, and we've seen the newspaper headlines. A lot of you know I used to work in that office, and it just kills me to see what is going on. I just want to get in there and get this right. Simply put, I know what to do. So I ask for your support and your vote this coming August 30th to restore accountability to our clerk's office. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. The incumbent, Amy Havlin. Come on up, babe. Amy, come on. There you go. There you go.
Hello, everybody. Thank you to Salutes and Hometown PAC for hosting today's event. I'm Amy Hevelin, and for the past 4 years, I've had the honor and privilege of serving as your court clerk and comptroller. As you know, the beginning of my term was very challenging, but I'm pleased to announce many achievements that were accomplished during that time. We've invested in the newest technologies and equipment, upgraded our software. We worked with the local courts to provide real-time access to the bench. We're currently working with the Florida Supreme Court, developing a public access portal that will be installed on our new user-friendly website later this fall. But most of all, I'm proud of my team for their national recognition in achieving excellence in financial statement reporting, 3 years running. They're excited to learn of their 4th later this winter. I look forward to the opportunity of providing more projects that will result in better, faster, cost-effective solutions for our agency and to you, our customers. I appreciate your support. Vote Amy Hevelin August 30th at the polls. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Next up is a race that will probably be fairly boring. That's State Attorney. Is Julio Margali here? Julio's an announced candidate, but I don't think he's here tonight. Then how about Shad Neese? Shad, come on up.
Oh, hi everybody. My name is Shad Neese. I am running for the office of State Attorney as a Libertarian. I am running because Americans today are the most incarcerated people in the world. There are 2.2 million Americans currently incarcerated, another 7 million under some form of supervised release. This is more people that are incarcerated in authoritarian Russia or in communist China. Although America only constitutes 5% of the global population, we're almost 25% of the world prison population. I don't think that this is who we are, and I don't think this is how we were meant to treat each other. There are challenges in society that can be very difficult to look at. Mental illness, drug and alcohol addiction, kids from crummy homes. We need to resist the temptation to see mass incarceration as an acceptable solution to these problems. Mass incarceration is expensive, it's overly harsh, and importantly, it's ineffective at changing behaviors oftentimes. Finally, our Constitution, the supreme law of the land, is supposed to guarantee our freedom against governmental overreach. Nowhere is this principle more important to fight for and to defend than in our criminal justice system. If anyone would like to talk with me about the Libertarian Party, criminal justice reform, or what we can do to help make Florida better, I've got a table set up and I'll be happy to talk to anybody. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Shad. All right, next up, I should have said the incumbent is Catherine Vogel, and the other announced candidate we have is the guy named Dennis Ward. Dennis? I know he's here. Oh, Dennis!
He's not rushing.
There you go. Come on, Danny. That's the tour.
Just sit down and have dinner. By the way, they need that table over there. Party for. Thank you, Doc. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dennis Ward, and I'm running for State Attorney. I was a State Attorney here from 2009 through 2013. I am a retired Miami Beach police officer, 29 years. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I presently sit on the Village of Islamorada Council, and I run a successful law practice, criminal defense in the Village of Islamorada. You can check out some of my work. We got a website going up. Should be up here in the next couple of weeks. Some of our accomplishments when I ran the State Attorney's office, and I would appreciate you considering me for the position of State Attorney. Thank you very much, and thank you for coming out.
Thank you, Dennis. All right, I'd like to introduce our incumbent, Catherine Vogel. Who I might add was sitting here waiting as she should have been.
Thank you. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. It's so great to see you. I love all of you. As you all know, I'm currently your state attorney, and I became your state attorney back in 2013. I want you to know that I've got over 30 years experience as a prosecutor, so I really do know how to run the office. When I came in, the first thing that we did was there was a huge backlog of cases of DUIs. We went to work on those. We instituted a program for first-time offenders so that we could send them to a pretrial program, and we cleared up that backlog. I concentrated on prosecuting those cases that had been pending for a very, very long time. It really doesn't do any good to have those cases pending. The next thing that I've done is I brought a lot of fiscal responsibility to the office. One of the things that we did was creative prosecution so that we can cut down on bringing witnesses from out of town into into the city. It's very expensive to pay for experts and to pay for travel and to pay for lodging here in the Florida Keys. So one of the things that we did is that we've introduced the concept of Skyping people so that we could save you all taxpayers money. Furthermore, my office has been reducing the amount of dependency as far as getting money from the county. So we've been saving taxpayers dollars. We're doing very good with retention of staff. I've got a very professional staff that has been working with me for many years. We've cut down on the turnover so that people are properly trained. So the office has been working well. We also have been working with our partners. We have a very close relationship with the sheriff's office. The sheriff is partnering with us and has actually brought us over $50,000 worth of equipment, therefore saving you all tax dollars. We also have partnered, I think Holly mentioned that she got a bill passed to save sea turtles and also to improve the lobster, protect the lobster fishermen. And my office not only wrote those, but also testified in Tallahassee in favor of those bills. Oh, is that what that means? All right, Todd, I thought you just couldn't stand to be away from me. All right. So anyway, I want to thank you all. You all voted me in last time. I ask you to vote for me in November.
Thank you, Catherine. If you can believe it, it's not 7 o'clock and we're on to our last race. Before I do that, I want to say thank you on behalf of Hometown to all of you. It's been like 12 years. When we did our first call for candidates, we couldn't have filled this room. And it was out in the parking lot. And it was hot. And we've got a beautiful day today. So we'll get right on to our very last one. That's Public Defender. And this is currently held by Rosemary Ann Wright. She has decided not to seek re-election, so it's an open seat. And they're always highly contested. We have 2 announced candidates. Is there anybody unannounced for the Public Defender's office? Hearing nobody, I'm going to bring up Patricia Doherty Gibson. Patricia, come on up. Two minutes. 2-ish.
Okay, I can do it less. Yes. Take 2 minutes. Good evening, everyone. The last race, but not the least. The Public Defender is an important constitutional office. And I have the experience, leadership, and dedication required for this position. I take this job very seriously. I put my heart and soul into representing my clients while protecting their constitutional rights. I am Trish Doherty Gibson, and I am your Chief Assistant Public Defender. In the 2 decades that I have been with the office, I've been asked many times why I did not go into private practice. And that answer is very simple for me. It started when I was a teenager and read To Kill a Mockingbird. It was in that moment that I knew that this is what I wanted to do. I am passionate about what the Public Defender does, and I am good at it. I've been with the office for 21 years, and I plan on staying there.
My expertise as a criminal defense attorney with thousands of serious felony cases has prepared me for this position. As chief assistant, I train and supervise our attorneys in the 3 offices throughout the Keys. And I have experience in our state and county budget, traveling to Tallahassee for budget meetings during legislative session. Most important, Rosemary Enright, the current public defender, is retiring and has endorsed me as the person most qualified to succeed in her position. This is an incredibly important position. We are sometimes people's last place that they can turn to when their lives are turned upside down. I am the only person that has worked every facet of this job and has the expertise to run for this position. Please vote for me, Trish Doherty Gibson, November 8th for Public Defender. And our election is November, so you won't see us on the August. And I want to thank Hometown PAC and all of you who came out for this evening. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Trish. I'm so proud of her. We have time issues sometimes. All right, batting ultimate cleanup is Robert Lockwood. Come on, Robert.
Hello, everyone. I was raised in this community, I was educated in this community, and now I want to give back to this community. My name is Robert Lockwood, and I'm running for Public Defender. I want to thank Hometown PAC for having me and giving me an opportunity to talk. I want to thank all of my supporters, the millions that are out there. And especially want to thank the Key West Fire Department for endorsing me this past week. It was very special and very humbling. I'm the best candidate for this job. I've been doing this for a while. I want to do this. I was an assistant state attorney in Broward, covering thousands of cases. I was an assistant public defender here in Monroe County, defending the constitutional rights of my clients. But most importantly, I ran 2 small businesses. I know what it's like to have a family business. I know what it's like to take care of your employees. I know what it's like to be personally responsible for a budget. I will be devoted to this job. I want to do this job for you guys out there. I see a lot of my ex-employees out there actually, so it's kind of tough to talk, ex-co-workers I guess I should say, so it's kind of hard to talk in front of them because I do truly miss them at the office. So guys, stick together with me. I got my crowd, I'm going to be working hard. I want to do this for you. My name's Robert Lockwood, I'm running for Public Defender. I respectfully ask for your vote on November 8th, and don't forget to lock the vote.
All right, guys, it is 6:56. We did it. We look forward to seeing everybody on June 24th. That's our next event. It's going to be at the studios of Key West in air conditioning. And that is the day of qualifying. So that day is where we meet the candidates. Otherwise, have fun. Do the other part of this evening, which is to talk to the candidates and shake their hands, tell them what you think. I'm getting a drink. Good night.